Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to talk about the second part of the sixth grade quiz that is going to happen from Tuesday to Thursday, March 24 to March 26. The first video talked about dividing fractions by fractions, but in this video, we are going to talk about how to solve one-step algebraic equations. These are called algebraic equations because there is algebra involved, okay? Meaning that we have variables like the letter z, okay? Um, there's at least three ways to solve algebraic equations. There's drawing a hanger or a balance, which is good for visualizing what's happening. It's not the most popular way, but it's a good way to see what's happening. And for some people, it might be their best way to solving this problem. The second way is just doing the opposite operation, and then finally, the third way is doing traditional algebra. What we're going to do is talk about the opposite way and talk about traditional algebra. All right, so for those of you who are just going to do this the opposite way, and by the way, it's okay whichever way you decide to do on this quiz. But if you do the opposite way, um, you just have to look at the problem and decide, oh, this is a subtraction equation. So, what is the opposite of taking away? And so, the opposite of taking away is adding. So, what you do is you can start with your answer, and then the opposite of subtract is add. And so, you're just basically adding these two numbers. And then, whatever you get here, that is your answer for Z. Okay. In other words, this is your solution for Z and you're done. Okay. That is how to do the opposite way. If you are doing the traditional algebra way, then the way you do this is you need to know which is your left side and your right side. Some people write this, most people do not. Um, for those of you who are learning algebra for the first time or just beginning to learn algebra, I've been recommending drawing this line so that you can separate your left side and your right side. And then um, in algebra, we usually want the variable to be alone. In other words, it wants to be by itself. The letter Z does not want to be next to the minus sign or the 1.79. So that means we have to get rid of this. Now, in order to get rid of this, we just think of the opposite. And then here, sorry, the opposite of taking away is adding. And so the opposite of minus 1.79 is plus 1.79. Okay. And whenever we want balance or equality on the left side and the right side, whatever we do on the left, we do the same thing on the right. So for adding 1.79, what do we do on the other side? We also add 1.79. Okay. Um, the next step is to either work on the left side or the right side. I'm going to just do the left side. Now, sixth graders might not understand what happens when you have a minus 1.79 and plus 1.79. So, one of the easiest ways to think about this for now is thinking about it, reading it from here to here. What is 1.79 minus 1.79? 1.79 minus 1.79 is just zero. So some people just straight up cross it out. Okay. Other people will just X it out because this is zero and it's gone. It's nothing. Now, the only thing that we have left on the left side is Z. So Z is the only thing still here. The equal sign is still in the middle. And then you just go ahead and add this up. 8 plus 9, 17, carry 1. 1 plus 3, 4. 4 plus 7 is 11. 1 and 2 make 3. 3 and 1 make 4. And that is your final answer. Z equals 4.17. If you're doing this alone on a quiz, or a very important assessment, like a test, it's a good idea to always check. It's a good habit. Okay. Now, checking means you're checking to make sure Z really is 4.17. And so the way to do that is you go back to this equation and you just think about it here. Okay. That Z we think is 4.17. So to check my work, I'll go 4.17 minus the 1.79, and I should get 2.38. So if I do all this work, yep. Okay, cool. I know that's right. So that means that my answer is right. Okay. So this is how you do it the traditional way. This is how you just do it the opposite way. Okay. So 3 different ways to solve equations. I hope this helps. Take care. Bye.